First one I'd like to cover is actually the first of the contingency leadership theories developed by Fred Fiedler back in 1951. I really liked this theory because there was a belief that leaders, or leadership I should say, is based on personalities and behaviors that really don't change, and thus leadership styles should be based on different situations and should be malleable to those and move along those in some fashion. This particular theory touches upon what he calls situational favorableness. These are items such as a leader-follower relationship, a task structure, and position of power. As you can see, I copied this from my textbook and really enjoyed this model and this theory. In previous self-assessments, I found that I was more task-oriented than relationship-oriented in my style. And thus what I noticed with this model is that if in the first question of is my relationship with my followers good or poor, if I develop a good relationship, then regardless of the answers to the other questions on either if a task is repetitive or non-repetitive, or if a leader's power is strong or weak, then the appropriate style for the situation would be, or would tend to move towards the task role. Not that I'm against relationship roles, I was just a little bit stronger in the task one. So as you can see, if the task is repetitive or non-repetitive, and if the leader's power was strong or weak, which indicates do I have the ability to hire or fire or give bonuses, then the chances, I have basically a 75% chance of my innate leadership style to kind of fit the situation. So I kind of gravitated towards this model for that reason, but I do like how they discussed the personalities and behaviors are pretty strong and immalleable, and then taking each situation into consideration to choose your style. The next theory is the continuum theory. This one was by Robert Tenenbaum and Warren Schmidt, and also back in the 1950s. This one kind of gives about 7 different styles of leadership based on a continuum between an autocratic leader and a participative leader, with time being one of the considerations. So if you had a lot of time to make decisions, you could use more of a participative style, versus if you needed to develop something rather quickly, then you would have more of an autocratic. So the level that you included your followers in was really kind of dependent on the time. I did enjoy this model quite a bit. It did give 7 areas, for instance, state the decision that is not open to discussion, all the way down to letting employees make ongoing decisions, from one extreme to the next. And though I really liked it and enjoyed it, I also agreed with the textbook where it said that a lot of the criterion were very subjective, and so it didn't feel very strong to me in its research. So here is that model and what that looks like on the continuum between the autocratic all the way down to the participative. This one reminded me of the goal setting and expectancy theories that we had previously spoke about. So it does concentrate on determining what objectives our subordinates or followers may have, and then trying to help them achieve them by using one of the leadership styles. So it does give us a clarification on which style to use when, which is one thing that I liked about this model. So it gives specifics about when to use a directive, when to use a supportive style, when to use a participative style, and when to use an achievement-oriented style. And the situational factors that really kind of drive that are the subordinates factors or characteristics, such as the degree to which employees might want to be told what to do, as well as what is their locus of control, whether internal or external, and of course their ability. And then of course the environment, and similar to previous theories where the task structure is either repetitive or non-repetitive, and then a formal authority, again, kind of along the power, how much power does the leader have? And then the work group is a good key factor here on how well the group works together and has job satisfaction together. So this one spoke to me really well, and I enjoyed this one mainly more so than the continuum one, because it gave very distinct criteria for choosing which leadership style to use. And finally, the last theory is the leadership substitute theory. And this is really just kind of in lieu of an actual leader. It talks about what characteristics of the subordinate or the task or the organization have that can replace the leader role or neutralize that leader behavior. The characteristics of the followers, the characteristics of the task, and the characteristics of the organization come into play with this. And really, it's just a matter of someone who is not given the leadership role is determined to be more of that natural leader. My personal choice is really the contingency leadership, as I had mentioned previously. It kind of fits my natural style of leadership, and it does lend itself well for what I innately can already do. So this is the reason why, especially in healthcare where I'm dealing with nursing staff, providers, that sort of thing, in an environment where it's, in some instances it's repetitive, but it's not. So I tend to work hard on good relationships, and though currently my position does not have a lot of power, I'm seen as having more power than I think that I actually have. So I hope you appreciated this presentation. Thank you very much.